So I polled over 3,000 golf fans and asked one simple question. Is the PGA Tour right to ban players who participate on the LIV Golf Tour? And let me tell you, the results astonished me. Holy! So here are the results of the poll. 71% of you sided with the players who have joined the LIV Golf Tour, and 29% of people think the PGA Tour is correct, have sided with the PGA Tour when it comes to banning players from the PGA Tour. Now that in and of itself is pretty telling as to what real golf fans think of this thing, but the comments were really interesting. I want to dive into some of the better comments that were left alongside these poll results. I think you're gonna find it really interesting like I did. And at the end of this, I'm gonna share my opinion of the LIV Golf Tour with you. And I've gotta say, it actually has sort of changed and evolved based on reading a lot of these fan comments. But before I do read the comments, good chance for me to remind you to subscribe, because if you wanna participate in polls like this and be part of videos like this on Let's Play Through, you gotta subscribe. It's real easy, one click down below there, hit that and help this channel grow. Let me present the opinion of some of the folks who commented on our poll with some really valid arguments in favor of the PGA Tour. Chris Kwan says, Phil made his choice, referring to Phil Mickelson. No one stopped him from joining LIV. I don't have an issue with the PGA setting their own rules. Let's see if money wins out versus competition and legacy. The only point I'll say there is I think it's more than just about money. I do think that there's some innovation being brought to this tour, and we'll see if that wins out as well. Gilbert Perez, in defending the PGA Tour, says, what other athletes are allowed to participate in multiple leagues? No one. Now, there's a reply here from Steven who says, Deion Sanders, Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, multiple leagues, different sports. Cheeseburger61 says, yes, it's called a conflict of interest in the real business world. The Dry Down says, people answering yes are the kind of people you'd partner with. People answering no, stay far away from. And again, I think that gets back into loyalty, and I do see that is a big issue with what's going on. You want to have people that are loyal to you and to your brand. Jake Civis says, the real question is, do you think if you work at a company and decide to work for its competitor that you should keep your job? Certainly that's a valid point. Is this competition close enough? Certainly they're both golf tours. These events on LIV seem to be played on off weekends or when minor events are being played that these tour players normally wouldn't be playing anyways. I don't know. It's a good argument, certainly. Isaac Brubaker says, what kind of business are you in? Go and try to work at your job and to get another job doing the same thing but at a competitor, and let me know what happens when your employer finds out. I get it. Are they employees though? And I think that's the question, and we've got a couple of replies here to that. Brett's Graskapage responds, my issue is the players aren't employees though. The PGA wants to treat them as independent contractors when it's convenient, but then as employees when it works in their favor. If I contract someone to design a website for me and they do that, but then later go design a website for another company doing similar things, I can't be upset because they don't work for me as an employee. That's absolutely very valid there. All right, now let's get into the arguments that people have made in favor of the LIV Golf Tour. McNiller and Sons says, the PGA is acting childish. Get over yourselves. The players all deserve more money anyways with the growing popularity. I'll watch golf over any of the other major sports. It's true, golf has really boomed, and I would like to see some of those purses move up for these players as well. Al Holloway says, competition, capitalism, free markets, Saudi money will be good for the game. And I think there's definitely an argument to be made there. When you've got competition, innovation is right behind. Vex Luther has a very interesting comment here. He says, as long as I make it to work every day for both companies, yes, I'm for freedom over limitations. That's an interesting point. Like, I know a lot of people who have two jobs. They work a day job, then they work an evening job. And is it unfair for the PGA Tour to stipulate you can't work that other side hustle? It's hard to argue with Vex's point here. Stephen L. Hale Sr. says, players are independent contractors and the PGA has zero business dictating to them where and when they can play. I really do think that that's a good point. The same goes for companies that have pulled sponsorships from the players who have chosen to play where and when they wish. It's like the PGA and sponsors think they have the right to impose forced union labor practices upon the players, whom I believe were all born free and have the right to exercise that freedom. It's called the right to work wherever and whenever one so chooses. Now, being American, I am a big proponent of freedom, and so there are some serious things to consider there for sure. Matthew Horlock says, as a sport, golfers should be free to play in any tournament they see fit. The PGA makes a ton of money from the players. All the players want is freedom to play. I can see both sides of this for sure. True Blue 22. I understand everyone goes straight to talking about the money. However, I do believe it is much more than that. I agree with you. And I don't fault anyone for looking for a better situation for themselves and their family. Absolutely, very good point there. One of the reasons I love doing YouTube and doing this channel is because I do it from my home. I'm sitting in my home office right now. I spend more time with the kids. I have more time to be with the family. Alan Duncan says, the PGA is basically the USA Tour, Mexico and Canada thrown into the pot. Would the PGA ban DJ and Bryson forever if they decided to play only the Asian Tour or Japanese Tour event? So would they be able to play other events, other tours? Would they still get banned? No, because those are kind of partner tours with the PGA Tour. So I think that's actually a very good point. Michael Hudson says the players are self-employed contractors. They have a right to play in different tours. European and American players both play tours anytime they want, but LIV League is off limits. And even if you consider it, you're the devil. Come on. Good one. Andy Wood, golfers lose their tour card and livelihood every year. PGA doesn't seem concerned about golfers then. Can't blame golfers coming to ends of their career wanting a last big paycheck. Now, one thing I will say is I would like to see more of the younger players. I don't want this just to be another senior tour and last hurrah for these guys. I think if that happens, then the LIV is definitely going to be a failure. But if they can continue to attract younger players like they seem to be doing, now getting Brooks and Bryson and some of these players over, I think it might have some legs. Phil Bolda says, I think the PGA is worried that they might lose viewers and players, and that might happen. I watched the LIV opening round today and I was surprised how well it was produced. I agree, it was produced very well. He goes on to say the players should be allowed to play where they want without consequences. And he wants to know my thoughts. I'm about to give you my thoughts right now. I think the PGA Tour suspending players is a bad move for golf and for really themselves. I really do believe that competition is good and it helps to drive innovation. And some of the innovative things that LIV is bringing to golf, I think the PGA Tour could actually incorporate in some of their own events and make them better events. I love the fact that they're doing a shotgun start. That means all of the players tee off at the same time. Unlike the PGA Tour where some tee off in the morning and it goes throughout the afternoon, weather conditions change. This allows the course conditions to be fair for all players, and I think you get a better representation of the golf course when that happens. I love the fact that this is only a 3-day tournament, and I know that's a point of contention with people like golf should be 4 days, but who says golf should be 4 days? Just because something has always been, I don't think that it has to be that way. I, as a fan, cannot watch golf on Thursdays. In fact, I'm working right now recording this video, not watching any of the Thursday golf on either tour. So that is just me, and maybe your case is different, or maybe you catch up in the evening. But for me, I like to watch golf on the weekends. In fact, I could live with a 2-day tournament. It's all the same to me. I also like the fact that the LIV Tour has no cut. Now, on the side of the PGA Tour here, it's nice that more players have a chance and unknowns often arise. And with the LIV Golf Tour, it's a smaller field, and maybe you don't get the chance to get some of those unknowns rising to the top. I understand that part as well, but I really do like the fact that there's no cut. Everyone has an equal chance to play all 3 rounds, and may the best golfer win at the end of those 3 rounds. You never know, someone could blow up, they could shoot 61, 62. And I like the fact that these guys have guaranteed money. Even the last place is making pretty good money. And listen, it's expensive to be a professional golfer. The reason these guys have all these sponsorships is because you've got to pay for events, you got to pay for travel, you got to pay for room and board while you're playing in these events. And it's nice that these guys actually have some kind of guarantee on their income. Now, on the flip side, on the PGA Tour side, I don't think we can discount the history and the legacy and what they have brought to professional golf and to the fans over the years. I also can see the point where you feel a little bit betrayed when people are playing on another tour. I totally understand that. I would like to see the LIV Golf Tours maybe happen more in the quote unquote off season of the PGA Tour. But then again, these pros weren't going to play some of these smaller events one way or the other. So I don't know if it's actually even competition to those events, to be quite honest with you. The other thing I'll say is I really like the fact that they are catering to YouTube with this tour. The events are streamed live. They are available to everybody. One gripe I've got as a longtime cord cutter, I cut the cord about 15 years ago, is the fact that I really can't have access to PGA Tour events unless I am paying for PGA Tour or ESPN or one of the other services. They understand the fact that culture is shifting away from broadcast television to platforms like YouTube. I think that that is a win for golf. It's exposing it to more people who didn't have access to it before. LIV Golf Tour versus the PGA, where do you stand? I would love to know down there in the comments. Please let me know if you're Team PGA Tour or Team LIV, or if you're just a fan of golf. I would love to know. Guys, if you enjoyed this one, you're gonna love this video right here, as well as this one right here. Again, do hit subscribe. Keep coming back to watch all of these videos, and I'll catch you back on the next edition of Let's Play Through.